What? X Harper here, WWE2k19 Universe Mode Overview. What I'm going to do today is show you my Universe Mode. I finally got to play Universe Mode last night for the first time after all of the editing and creating that I've been doing. I finally got the chance just to have a bit of me time, get my hands in on the game, and just get to have a bit more of a feel for what the Universe Mode looks like and what it is for the average player like myself. When I just get into it, I just want to play hours and hours, and that's exactly what happened. So today's going to be an overview. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to be too descript, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on every little area within Universe Mode. What I'm going to do is make these areas in more detail. So if you want to know more about specific areas of my Universe Mode, if you've got questions, leave messages, leave comments, hit me up on Twitter at xharper, or hit me up on Instagram at xharper, and simply so that I can explain to you a bit of the context about where I'm at in my Universe Mode. When I started Universe Mode, unfortunately I didn't realize if you delete the Monday event, which is what I did, and do a Friday event first. So I created Raw is War first and left Raw there. Then I deleted Raw. It skipped time straight to Raw is War. So I essentially lost my first two events. And so my first event was actually Raw is War. So I finished that off. And now I'm in my first full week. As you can see, I've been through WCW once, ECW once, and Raw once. I've got my next Raw event coming up. So I have these free because I copy the Attitude Era. That's essentially what I'm doing. I think it's pretty obvious from what you can see that that is how I run my Universe Mode. I like it that way. I don't really use any of the modern branding for stuff. I tend to base all of my content around sort of the late 1990s, 98 to 2002 sort of era. I'm now going to give you an overview of the calendar. Again, I'm not going to go into loads of details on each one, so I'm just going to show you the WCW, I've got ECW, I've got Raw is War representing WE, representing WCW, and representing ECW. Then what I do is I have three. The reason I do this is it would simply take me forever to get through a calendar year if I had an ECW, WWE, and WCW separate events. So what I do is I create one event each month that is two brands, and the other one is a specific brand to one of the organizations. So as you can see, this month, the first month in May, I've got Payback. And what I am going to do, I'll just show you this. So you're not going to see the details, but you're going to just see this. So you've got the logo, you've got the host shows. Payback I just copy as Backlash. Backlash tends to be quite a neutral arena. I haven't done any match tables yet. I've only done it for Nitro so far. It works quite well from what I've seen. It definitely gives you more control over the event and the way that the way that the show plays out, and is also prepared and planned. However, I still go in and delete them all anyway because I love mine to be fully customized, and I love to create the matches myself. I am looking forward to the rivalry idea though. You can see that after last week I had some rivalries in the bottom left corner. You can see that Scott Steiner and Cactus Jack have formed a rivalry over the United States title. Spoiler alert. So from that rivalry, I'm really looking forward to the way that the game says you can customize rivalry matches without affecting the rivalry. Last year on 2K18, if you edited a rivalry match, it deleted it for good, and the rivalry didn't count, even if you were playing a match with the two rivals. So now they're saying that you can do that. You can edit the match and keep the rivalry going. So I'm hoping that that's going to work. I'm certainly going to try it over this first month coming up to Bash at the Beach. WCW NWO Bash at the Beach at the end of May. I should also tell you, some of these events didn't happen in the months that they're happening. I'm not that bothered about authenticity because I need to fit all of the events into the calendar that I want. So that means that I've had to compromise, and a few of them have had to be switched around and moved to different times of year. But I have tried to keep it more or less in the same season rather than moving it completely from doing. Anyway, on to June, same events obviously in the week, but then we've got ECW Capital Punishment. So this is simply just an ECW show. I created the logo myself. You can download that at Community Creations. In fact, all of these logos, except for Raw is War and Monday Nitro, can be downloaded at Community Creations. I have used them all, created them myself, edited them myself, etc, etc. They're all available. Or you can just go on to the shows. Some of them are on the shows in Community Creations. Just have a look around. You'll find the one that you need. Finally, at the end of the month, this is my WE and NWO, WCW NWO event, King of the Ring. I love King of the Ring. I don't understand why they don't incorporate King of the Ring tournaments into the game. From what I can see, there's no way of creating a tournament yet for a show. It says like, it appears like you can, but I haven't gone into it enough because I haven't got to King of the Ring yet. So I'd love to see a pay-per-view match theme actually matching King of the Ring, but unfortunately it doesn't, so I just put Clash of Champions for now. As I said before, I edit everything anyway, so I end up creating a custom show. It's one of my favourite shows actually in the calendar because what I do, I get a bit over fanboy, wrestling fan, and I end up doing my own physical raffle. For those of you who don't know what a raffle is, it would be like a lottery. I do my own lottery of all the wrestlers in both WE and WCW. And what I do is I draw the top 10 or however many names out of the hat to fill the actual tournament ladder. And what I tend to do is I play the pay-per-view as a normal pay-per-view without the tournament. And what I do is I switch back to a non-tournament mode, a non-universe mode, and I just play a regular tournament parallel to the event. And then I have the tournament playing on one game mode in tournament, and then I have my universe mode running the actual pay-per-view. So I essentially have to pretend that the tournament is taking place in my universe mode. It's not, but it doesn't matter because the winner just is chosen by me, and I get to make sure that that person earns a shot at the title at SummerSlam or at whatever time I want them to win. So next month, ECW Bad Blood. I love Bad Blood as a pay-per-view, and I love it even more that I get to make it ECW, so I've done that. Then at the end of the month, you've got WWE WCW Money in the Bank. You may be asking, how on earth does that work? Well, I customize my Money in the Bank. I spread it evenly between both brands, so WE and WCW are represented 3 each. I think it's 3 each. If not, it's 3 and 2. Whatever. It's represented by both brands, and then obviously the winner can take the Money in the Bank and use that at whatever time they want. But until I get there, again, it's another fun event. It's like King of the Ring for me. It just keeps each of my months real fun, keeps them ticking over nicely so that I don't get bored with a pay-per-view. I hate that. Getting bored with a pay-per-view is the worst thing when you don't look forward to that month because it's boring and there's nothing special about the event. That is the worst thing in the world. So I've tried to make each month fun, creative, and a little bit different and unique from the last. Going into August, you've got ECW Hardcore Heaven. I've added that. I'm pretty sure Hardcore Heaven wasn't in August, but that's where I've placed it. And then you've got WWE WCW SummerSlam. Let me just go to Hardcore Heaven so you can see the logo. Again, I created all these logos. You can see there, SummerSlam, boom, pretty obvious what that is. Then into September, I actually really like September. Firstly, you've got ECW Extreme Rules, which I love the way, once I customize this, I really love the logo. And once I saw it in my actual arena that I've created, it looks stunning. I'm really pleased with that. Check it out. You can't check it out on Community Creations, but I do believe the logo is available on there for you. It's a really high definition logo. You should check it out. And then at the end of that month, you've got Night of the Clash of the Champions. I used to call it Night of Champions, but then for some reason WE have switched to Clash of Champions, so I've switched accordingly. And what I do in this pay-per-view, it's a really fun pay-per-view. Again, what I do is I match up all of the champions from each brand. So there's 6 titles now. So what I'll do is the worst champion in one brand will fight the worst champion in the other brand, and it will go all the way up to a main event where you will have a triple threat match. This is one of the only times I throw in an ECW guy, but what I do is I put an ECW guy, WCW and WE champion in a freeway match, and the idea is that the winner becomes the undisputed champion, and then they get the undisputed belt. And what that does, it sort of acts as a money in the bank, but they can till the next event, so it's like the kudos of saying you're the best wrestler in the world. So that's how I use Clash of Champions. I hope you guys think that that's a good idea. You should use it. I think it's a good idea, obviously. So going into October, you've got Halloween Havoc. Love that event. I've actually used my own logo for Halloween Havoc because the one that the game uses is tiny. This one's much bigger. You can see that it's closer in size to Raw, ECW and WCW, so it all looks a bit bigger and nicer. And then to follow that up, you've got Hell in a Cell, ECW Hell in a Cell, ECW WWE Hell in a Cell. Great event, love that. It's a lot of fun because I get to mix the ECW and WE wrestlers together. You can create some really fun hardcore matches by just bringing those two brands together, and it works really well. One thing you've probably noticed before I go any further is that I don't mix ECW and WCW, and the reason for that is very simple. Those two brands hated each other back in the day, so I don't mix those brands. ECW and WCW are always separate. The only two that I mix, even though WCW and WE hated each other, I mix them because they've got such a great talent pool, and it makes the events iconic because you get all the roster that you want and all the best wrestlers essentially in the game in one pay-per-view. So I really like that, and it's a lot more fun. So November, you've got November to Remember. Obviously this should have been here, and so that is just ECW. Then Survivor Series at the end of the month, that's WE and WCW. What I tend to do here is use it as a literal WCW versus WWE. I make loads of matchups that are Survivor Series based matches. One team is WCW, one WWE. Now what I've done in the past, and I might do it this year too. Hello, I do not know how to say your name. Darai Yerik Rivas Molina, hello. What I do at Survivor Series is I tend to do like a bit of a King of the Ring, but in teams. So I will have 2 WCW teams, 2 WE teams, and 1 ECW team, depending on how I feel about mixing it up. And then it's a little mini tournament throughout the pay-per-view, and then it works to the final, where you should ideally get the best 2 teams from whatever brands. Sometimes I do it, usually I'll do it as a WCW versus WWE final, but sometimes I've also switched it up and done WCW, WCW, or WWE. But again, it's a different switch up on the Survivor Series Classic mode. Thank you for uploading that. That's awesome, Dari. And so what I said, I switch things up with Survivor Series. I think it needs to be done. Going into December then, we've got ECW, TLC, WWE. So I mix those two brands up for TLC. Again, I think tables, ladders and chairs needs no explanation. It makes sense to throw those brands together for this pay-per-view. So I do that. It becomes an Extreme Rules night. Again, you have a lot of fun with these matches and with the card and the roster. I'll show you the roster later, so you will actually see that in this video, so you'll know exactly who I use in my roster for each brand. And then Starrcade, the big event for WCW. This is their WrestleMania. This is WCW WrestleMania, essentially. So this is my big event. It happens at the end of December, which works perfectly because I have the Royal Rumble coming in January. So actually what happens is it establishes the champion. It finishes the year really well for WCW, but it also starts the real road to WrestleMania. So in January, what I do is I have 2 Royal Rumbles. I have a Royal Rumble for ECW, which is just ECW wrestlers, and obviously that person earns a shot at the ECW title at WrestleMania, or at Extreme Mania, I should say, which I'll show you soon. And then I have a Royal Rumble for WE and WCW, which is just for those host shows. And then obviously the winner of that, whichever champion they want of their brand. So they can't, like, I couldn't have Stone Cold win the Rumble and go after Hollywood Hogan. It doesn't work like that. The idea is if a WE guy wins it, he fights for the WE championship of his choice at WrestleMania, and vice versa. If a WCW guy wins, they'll go to WrestleMania and fight for the WCW title of their choice. Okay, coming into February, we're getting close now to the end of this. Barely Legal, ECW, simple, nice event. It's one of my arenas. Again, my logo, you can download all this stuff. That's ECW only. Then I switch Elimination Chamber actually to February. And the reason I do this, I kind of don't understand the reason of Elimination Chamber being so far away from the Royal Rumble, apart from the fact that it's the month before WrestleMania. But I prefer to get that out the way now. So what I do is I take the winner of the Royal Rumble. They get to either be in the Elimination Chamber, or they can abstain and stay out of it. And so what I do is I do a WCW Elimination Chamber main event and a WWE main event. And like I said, it's up to you. Actually, what I do is I don't put the Royal Rumble winner in it. What I tend to do is leave them out. And then the winner gets to either fight the Royal Rumble winner for a shot at that belt at WrestleMania. Or you can have a three-way match at WrestleMania. So the Elimination Chamber winner, the Royal Rumble winner, and the champion in a three-way match at WrestleMania. It just gives me loads of options, but I like to pull it back a month. That way, what I can do in March before WrestleMania is just have like a down month, but like a fun, still fun, but also a downer. Road Wild for WCW. As you know, that wasn't really a pay-per-view. It was more just for the kudos of saying they're at Road Wild, like Hog Wild. They wanted to go there and just have an event. So I do the same, and I think that's the right place to place it. Then you've got Battleground, WWE ECW Battleground. I do need to make a new logo, actually, with a white ECW rather than black, because it's hard to see. But Battleground is essentially the WE ECW Survivor Series night. So what I do is put WE and ECW matches, have some freeway 4-man tag matches, etc., etc. It's hella fun. It creates a bit of fun, but it also takes away the importance of the event before WrestleMania, because to me, to truly build up WrestleMania, the month before should not really be an important event. It should simply be an event that sets the stage for what is to come. So, Extreme Mania, ECW! Extreme Mania, I made this event last year. I think I did the first time I created Extreme Mania. It went on community downloads, did quite well, so I've put it back on this year, and that is the WrestleMania of ECW for me. And it's a great event. Obviously, all of the ECW guys get to wrestle it out for a night of top quality action, hardcore WrestleMania. And then finally, the last event of my calendar year is WWE WrestleMania, with WCW and NWO invited to the party. So the idea here, again, I don't tend to cross brands, although I do have space on the card usually for a dream match. And that dream match is usually the one where I'll put a WCW guy and a WWE guy together in the ring in a one-on-one confrontation. For example, in the past I've used that for Sting and Undertaker. I would use it for things like Hollywood Hogan versus Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels versus Kevin Nash, or, you know, just switching it up, and you just put these matches in that cross the brands. It's more of an exhibition match, but it's a competitive exhibition match, because there's the kudos of the winner basically claims that their brand is the best. So you can do stuff like that. And I just mix up my WrestleMania card the way that I want. I haven't planned my year this year so far. Usually I plan my story arc for the whole year. I'm probably going to do that. I'm on holiday for a week starting from tomorrow. So I'll probably do that while I'm on holiday and just sort of write up the year that I want. And then you guys are going to get to see that story arc play out, because I'm going to do live videos of the universe mode as we go. So you're going to get to experience all of this. Now that you've seen that, we're 20 minutes in. I've got about another sort of 10-15 minutes that I want to take to this mode. So what I'm going to do now is just go through all of these areas. For those of you who don't know what news is, here's the news. I basically used my first week in universe mode, as I'm sure you guys do too, to establish all of my champions. So you can see that all these belts are won. Yes, Jake the Snake Roberts has won the WE title. just let you sink that in for a moment, understand what that means. The gravitas of Jake Roberts deserved to win it when he was wrestling with WWE anyway, but in my universe mode, he usually starts as the champion. I don't tend to let the winners of the first week be the strongest or necessarily win the title that they deserve, but hey, that's the way I do it. Rivalries have just started, but I'm going to work on those more as time goes by. Rhino and Sabu, I had the most insane backstage brawl match last night. That was a lot of fun. Took about half an hour, but it was a lot of fun. My championships, I'll go through these and show you which ones I use later. In fact, I'll just show you which ones I have on the game. I do use most of these, but for now, you can just see who the champions are. NXT, I do use NXT, but I keep it outside of the mode. It tends to be like a belt that I just bring in every now and then and let somebody win. Universal Tag Titles, that is established at Clash of Champions in the same way that I do it with the singles mode. I bring the best 3 tag team. Well, this year I'm bringing the best 3 tag teams from ECW, WCW and WE together to fight for the Universal Tag Titles, and they win that. And again, that just gives you the kudos of winning it for the year, and you are the best tag team for that year. Again, you can see these other belts. Some of them I've switched out. WCW title, I have branded belts that sort of are it's for the face of each company, if that makes sense. So rather than the WE Championship, which is meant to be like the best wrestler, the WE title, or the WCW title, whichever brand it's for, is actually for like the face of the company. So usually that will be Stone Cold Steve Austin, for example, or Sting with WCW. I still switch them up. I still have matches, but I don't use them as ranked modes. So I use my Undisputed Championship belt in the Clash of Champions event. That's what the overall winner wins. However, I could change that to the Universal Champion this year. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to make a decision on that later. So that's the belts done. Options, just so you can see them, you can pause this at a later date, but those are the options I have. I don't like injuries. I don't like tag team breakup and formations. I just spent 2 days creating all of them. I don't want them being broken up for no reason. Crowned reaction changing, I like to keep that off so that they don't switch, because my bad guys are my bad guys, heels and faces, blah, blah, blah. I want it the way I have made it. Superstars. Okay, so here we go. This is the list of superstars that I have in my universe mode so far. I will be adding more. I should also tell you that the women have not been edited yet, so their rankings will look obscenely high compared to the men. But it's just that I haven't actually edited them. You're probably not going to agree with a lot of these. Some of the lower ranked guys, especially the ones in there overall with 60s, they probably are people that I've never seen wrestle. Uncle, you know, forgive me. I haven't seen all of the modern product. I don't know all of the top wrestlers. So I look at someone like Bobby Fish and I'm like, who the heck is this guy with fish bones on his pants? He looks like a bit of an idiot. So to me, he's just a jobber. Whereas someone like Bobby Roode, I know and I've watched since his TNA days, and I really rate him highly, so he gets a nice high score. There is a way that I rate these wrestlers, and I've been through it in another video. If you're interested, go and watch it. But basically, Braun Strowman, like, the reason he's low is because he hasn't actually won a major title yet in WE. Until he starts winning major titles, his score will remain low. So these scores are flexible; they change depending on who wins what. But like I said, you can see that I've got different characters in my game mode. You can see the brand that they're on. By the way, whoever made that, Chris Benoit, deserves a medal. It's a tremendous court. They've done a great job of that. I changed a couple of things, but honestly, it was minor changes. It looks great. So as you can see, I'm scribbling through these. I'm trying to like get through as much as I can so that you can see it all in as short a time as possible. Again, if you see a 36, it's just because I've minimized their stats because I don't use them. And it helps me differentiate which one to use in play mode. Because when I see 36, I know that it's somebody that I don't want to use in my game. So that helps me to differentiate. wrestlers that I want to use and those that I don't. Wow, there are so many wrestlers. This is my wrestler, by the way, so if you look at that and like, it's mine, I created him, he's my European champion on Raw. I love that. And I usually let him win every belt basically and work his way up the rankings. But again, you can see these ranks. Hogan, my WCW World Champion, he beat the Giant in a cage match on Nitro last week. Jay Roberts won a 6-man battle royal for the WE title. Bit of a surprise, actually, that he came out on top. Jeff Jarrett, the old school Jeff. And again, oh yeah, I don't like John Cena. I'll tell you that now. So if you unsubscribe or if you down thumb this video, I'll know why. John Cena fans, well, no, I'm a hater. Like I said, you can see all these guys here. I'm just going to keep going through for you. Yes, it's long and it's drawn out, but I just want you to see all the wrestlers I've got. You'll be able to see which universe mode I put them into, which brand they're under. I do mix the modern wrestlers in, as you can see. I don't agree with leaving them out. I think absolutely they should be put in, just because I don't like the modern product as much as the old one. I don't see the point in having all these young stars. I can use them and then build them as well. And obviously with the way that power rankings work, some of these guys who are jobbers actually end up being sort of high mid-carders and in some cases champions. So please don't think that I don't utilize them at all. I really do. But I also have a lot of the legends, as you can see. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn are my tag team champions. They won the titles on Raw last week. Rowdy Roddy Piper, I don't know why. He's just a rough fighter, isn't he? He's not really a hardcore fighter, but I like him winning. He won my hardcore Royal Rumble match, which was quite fun. Sabu has won my ECW hardcore champion. I don't know if you can get more hardcore than what ECW already is, but I just thought I'd create a hardcore title for the brand. And like I said, as you can see, Scott Steiner won the US title. There's spoilers from the week just gone, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to play them anyway. You're not going to see those. Television title, Steven Regal won that. I used 1999 Sting, just so that you know. Of all 50 that they give us. Jokes. Triple H, I've made my own. I mean, it's Triple H 01, but I've just given him a completely different attire. One that was based around his rivalry with The Rock, because him and The Rock on my universe mode tend to go at it all the time for whatever title is available. We're done. That's it. Now, tag teams. You're going to get to see all these tag teams. There aren't too many. There are a couple of new ones. You've got The Brood. I love The Brood. I don't hate Edge and Christian. I just really love the Brood angle. I think it's a much more fun angle for those two characters. So I like the Brood. Brothers of Destruction are added. The Corporation. Vince McMahon owning the business as usual. DX is back to its full-fledged 5. Obviously China would normally be in there, but I can't fit more than 5 people. Boo. Dudley Boys are in. Evolution's different for me. I use the Cody Rhodes dad and son combo, because Trips is in D Generation X, so that replaces it really well. And I think Cody is still younger than Randy, so it works well. You've got an extended generation there, and obviously Dusty Rhodes is like Ric Flair, so it still continues the legacy. Rick goes into the Four Horsemen with Luger, Benoit, and Arn Anderson. Tully Blanchard and Larry Zbyszko sometimes, but for this year, I think I'm not going to even upload the two of them because I just don't use them enough. Gallows and Anderson. The Hardy Boys are back. I put those together and add Lita as a manager. The same with Harlem Heat. I add Jacqueline back because she was their manager back in the day. If you'll have to go back and look at some old school matches for that. That is the authentic Booker T 1990s attire, by the way. Don't be deceived by those gloves looking a bit different to Stevie Ray's generic Harlem Heat outfit. That is what he used to wear. You can download that from Community Creations. And as you can see, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are back together. I've created this brand myself. This is called Legacy. I love it because I love the fact that I can put the two Roods together on this game. So it's like the Rude tag team, and I love it. So Bobby Roode and Ravishing Rick Rude are together as a tag team, but then I bring in Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, as either a manager but also a singles wrestler as well, and then together they form this nice little group. I love that. It makes my WCW brand a lot more varied. They're not all in the NWO. There are other factions out there to fight. The LWO Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, they're together. I am going to add some more Mexican wrestlers and stars into that at some point. I'm just going to have to decide who I want in there. La Parka might be one of them. I've just got to make some decisions on who I want in my universe mode and who I want in the LWO. Money Inc. Now, I know Money Inc. are a WWE team, but for this mode, I love to put them in WCW simply because the $1 million belt is in WCW, and I think Ted DiBiase should have a say about who wins that title. Nation of Domination, they're going strong. Love them. All 5 of them in there. New Day, obviously. The New Foundation, I obviously don't call them the Hart Foundation because I've already got the Hart Foundation in WCW. But the WE version is the New Foundation, which is the Bulldog and Owen Hart. Then you've got the NWO, complete with my core, my one little guy who I've created, Ghost. He gets to be in there, but he's also the only one that wrestles on WE. The rest are all in WCW. You've got the Wolfpack. Now, the reason I created the Wolfpack is simply because NWO Hollywood doesn't exist as a name. So what I wanted to do was create a stable that wasn't connected directly with the NWO. These are the elite guys. This is how it should have been, in my opinion. The elite guys should have stayed as an elite clique and a group together. And they are with each other. They're friends with each other, but they're not necessarily friends with these guys. These are the guys who want to be in that group. And so these guys have formed their own stable because they're all the Leckies, they're all the Groupies, they're the guys who want to be in that group. And they've joined together as the Wolfpack. And basically they're the guys who help the NWO when they need it. But the NWO don't like the fact that they exist. They're just sort of like, if you really want to be part of us, do your own thing. Blah, blah, blah. So it's a kind of unique thing. They don't really like them, but they appreciate the help every now and then. These guys are just the Leckies who are trying to do their best to get into the NWO, but they never will because they're not good enough. And it should have always been that way. How can you have the Disciple with Macho Man Randy Savage? Doesn't make sense. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is not good enough wrestler to be associated with the New World Order. Not the big brand anyway. Raven's Flock, I'm going to add Perry Saturn. I am waiting desperately for somebody to create a good Perry Saturn. Last year somebody created an amazing core for Perry Saturn and I nabbed that straight away. I need it to add to the Billy Kidman and the Raven. I really want to get Raven into singles action. I don't want him to be in a tag team with Billy Kidman. I'd much more prefer either Perry Saturn or one of the other guys that ended up being in Raven's Flock. I'm going to have a look at different guys that are created and I'll choose the person who goes in. The Revival, the Road Warriors, the Rock and Roll Express. The Shield are back on the game for me, although Dean Ambrose is in ECW, so Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins hold the fort on Raw. Tons of Funk, I love this name. I don't even know if this is what they were called, but Terry Funk, dude love, Tons of Funk. It makes sense in so many different levels, and I love that as a tag team. Then you've got the Wyatt family back together, the 4 of them, not just the 3. And that's it. That's my teams that I use. So you've seen the shows, you've seen the superstars, you've seen the tag teams, and you've seen the belts. So for now, that's it. I'm happy that I've gone through those things. I'm going to have a look at what else I want to do today. I might do some power rating reviews, although that hasn't changed yet. All the women are at the top at the moment because I edited all of the guys and it's naturally moved them down. And then we're going to look at the show itself. We're going to watch a live event and I'm going to play one of my events. The next one is Raw is War up here, and I'm going to start playing it seriously after I get back from holiday. So for now, I'm probably going to leave playing Universe Mode until I get back. Game modes as well I would love to play, but until then, enjoy some of this content. I'm going to leave you with the uploads that I have on WWE2k19. So these are obviously all of the bits of creation that I've made so far for you. Have a look at that. I'm approaching 13,000 now. I'm getting a good amount of downloads every day. It's just under 1,000 a day, which is insane. But again, you can see all of the creations here. I use all of them on my mode, if not all of them, 95% of them. So you can just download them, and I hope that it helps you build your own universe mode. Use mine as a template if you want. I've got no problem with people copying my stuff. Just don't be uploading the copied stuff and passing it off as your own. Just at least give credit where it's credit's due. That's what I always say anyway. And here you go, and these are just the arenas I've got. If you like them, let me know. Send me messages. I do have space on here to create some arenas. Like Barely Legal's been here for a while, but it's not doing well because there's a far better creation out there from Skunky Pants. So I will delete that one, and that will create space for one more arena. And I'm saying that I'm going to listen to you guys, the audience, on this. Let me know what kind of ring you want. As long as it's from like the Attitude Era, it doesn't matter if it's ECW, WE, or WCW, or WF I should say, but just let me know what you want, and I'll try and create it and hopefully do you proud. I've done it a couple of times already with King of the Ring 98 and with which was the other one that I got asked to create. There was King of the Ring, and Super Brawl 97. So I created those. King of the Ring in particular is doing well. It also led to me creating an authentic WrestleMania 14 arena. Somebody else tried to use my King of the Ring template to create their own WrestleMania 14. And it looks alright. It's just not as good as mine because I've moved mine and changed the elements, put some really nice high-res files in, made the game look the way that it should, made the arena look as good as it possibly can. And clearly people agree with it because they're downloading it. Championship belts, I've got loads. WCW World Heavyweight title. The reason I do this is because it destroys the ranking system. So it cleans out the system of ranking. It cleans out the title history so that you can start again from scratch. I've done that with most of them. The tag team titles, the world title, my WCW title, the cruiserweight title. That works because it allows anybody to win the cruiserweight title. Okay, so that's a good download because it allows anybody to win it. Same with the ECW Cruiserweight. It just means that people who were cruiserweights, like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho, can actually win it. Television title's doing well. I'm not going to go through these. You can have a look at them at your own leisure. And again, shows, like I said to you before, most of the shows that I used on my universe mode, and some that I don't, are all on here for you to download. At your pleasure. Again, there's a couple of free ones, so if you want a specific show that maybe you've seen on my universe mode that you think, oh, that'd be cool, I'd love that, Extreme Mania for example, just let me know and I'll upload it for you. Finally, movesets. I saw somebody on Twitter today, I can't even remember who it is, claiming to be the best moveset creator on the game. Maybe by the numbers, maybe that's true, but I'm telling you now, I'm going to put my creations against anybody's. If you look at these movesets, I've spent hours on YouTube getting the best movesets together for these wrestlers. And like I said, I would happily stand against anybody that says they create the best movesets, because these are the most accurate movesets that I've ever seen on a WE game. And it's not because of me. All I've done is watch YouTube and put them together. So I haven't created anything new. I've literally just reproduced what they did in real life. And honestly, when you play the game with the movesets, there's nothing better than actually feeling the person that you're playing, because some moves just don't feel like they connect. And Steve Austin is a perfect example. Some of his moves in the game, they just don't feel like they're Stone Cold, but actually I went back and put the moves in that he actually did, and now when I wrestle with Stone Cold, it feels like I'm fighting with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Same with Goldberg, and I think Goldberg for some reason is the one that's become really popular out of all of them. Stone Cold's next. And as you can see, they're all getting downloaded, so just take a look at them, see what you think, and then add them as appropriate. But that's it. 40 minutes. I'm going to end there. Thank you so much. I'm X Harper. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. And until next time, whoop whoop!